Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, and everyone. Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Okay, it is 7 o'clock, so we will get started. Welcome everyone, and we will start with the invocation prayers. Om Jnana-timrandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshur-ulmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahaguna Ragunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopeshwar Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishpanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhayascha Kripa Sindhu Bhavevacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavrindanamo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So welcome everyone. Hope all of you are doing well. I know we are missing Bahari Prabhuji and he will be back next week. Until then, we have to keep the show on. So today I will be anchoring today's class and we will start with the agenda. So I think it is the Narayana group who will be presenting their group activity on chapter 8. So I will let them get started.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji and Mataji. Let me share my screen. Okay. So welcome everyone. Today we are representing Narayana group, myself Amit Chaudhary, and we have a Bala Subramaniam Prabhuji, Ananda Mohini Mataji. So today we will discuss the relationship between the death and destination as explained in Bhagavad Gita chapter 8 from verses 9 through 14. Krishna explained that whatever one remembers at the time of death determines one's destinations. The final thought is not accidental. It reflects that we have practiced and valued throughout life. In that sense, life is preparation for the final examination, and unlike most exams, there is no last minute cramming.
That's an important point. The mind naturally goes towards whatever it is attached to. If we spend our lives absorbed in temporary things, those thoughts will dominate. If we cultivate remembrance of Krishna, the mind will naturally turn toward him.
Exactly.
Krishna teaches spiritual practices that help us develop the right consciousness long before the final moment arrives.
So let's begin with the meditation on the Supreme as mentioned in verse 8.9. So what does Krishna teach here?
Krishna described the Supreme Person as eternal, all knowing, and the maintainer of all living beings. He recommends meditating on his transcendental qualities and form.
By hearing about Krishna and reflecting on his qualities, we gradually become attracted to him. The more we think about Krishna, the easier it becomes to remember him naturally. It's a little like a favorite song that keeps playing in your mind, except this remembrance brings spiritual benefit instead of making you search for the stop button.
Yeah, so meditation is not simply a mental exercise. It is a way of developing a personal relationship with the Supreme Lord through constant remembrance. So moving to verse 8.10 with the yoga with the devotion, Krishna speaks about fixing the mind on him with devotion. So how should we understand this?
Krishna explains that the mind should be focused on him through devotion and steady practice. This combines the principle of yoga and bhakti.
Most of us know how restless the mind can be. Sometimes during a few minutes of prayer, the mind suddenly starts planning tomorrow's schedule, replaying yesterday's conversation, and solving problems nobody asked it to solve. Regular spiritual practice trains the mind to return to Krishna despite distractions.
Yeah, that's why Krishna does not simply tell us to concentrate. He gives practical devotional processes that gradually train the mind. Devotion gives the mind its destination, and yoga helps keep it on course. So, as mentioned in the controlling, so sense and prana control, how let's discuss the verse 8.11 and 8.12.
These verses describe the traditional Ashtanga Yoga process. The practitioner withdraws the senses from external objects, fixes the mind within the heart, and controls the life air.
The goal is mastery over consciousness, so the mind is not pulled away by material distractions.
This process requires great discipline and long term practice. It involves a bit more commitment than silencing phone notifications for 10 minutes.
Yeah, the principle is clear. Control of consciousness plays a major role in determining one's destination. So, what practical method does Srila Prabhupada emphasizes for this age?
Srila Prabhupada explains the most practical process for this agent's chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Because the holy name and Krishna are non-different, chanting directly connects us with him. It can be practiced by anyone regardless of age, background, or circumstance.
Through sincere chanting, hearing, and remembrance, the mind gradually becomes purified and naturally absorbed in Krishna.
And unlike some complicated systems, this process doesn't require a mountain cave, advanced breathing techniques, or a PhD in meditation. It's available to everyone.
Yes, that's what like we have the constant devotional remembrance, which mentioned in the verse 8.14, which seems to summarize everything.
Yes, Krishna says that he is easily attained by one who always remembers him without deviation. This is the essence of Bhakti Yoga.
But sometimes people think I will just remember Krishna at the very end.
That sounds simple in theory. It's little like a student saying, I will ignore the entire semester and study during the last 30 seconds of final exam.
Yes, usually that strategy doesn't impress the examiner. Through chanting, hearing, prayer, worship, and devotional service, remembrance gradually becomes a natural part of life.
All spiritual practices ultimately aim at one goal, keeping Krishna at the center of our consciousness.
So let's summarize the main lesson from these verses.
Meditation, yoga, sense control, and chanting all help purify consciousness and prepare us for life's final moment.
But Krishna especially emphasizes devotion. When the mind becomes fixed on Krishna through loving remembrance and service, remembering him at the final moment becomes natural.
So the message is simple yet profound. If we remember Krishna throughout life, we will remember him at death and attain the highest destination. Rather than waiting for the final moment, we should begin cultivating that remembrance today. As mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 8.14, for one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to attain. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Very nice presentation. I like the slide deck, a lot packed into it. And I think, like Mataji was saying, in theory, it sounds simple, but in practice, it may not be as simple. But Krishna is definitely very merciful, and you guys extracted the message. Uh, I was uh, I was thinking about the college example that you gave, that how, at least in my case, engineering days, it was very true that how I was not preparing for the throughout the semester, but banking on the last day. So I was laughing within inside. But yeah,
We did the same, Prabhuji.
I know, Mataji, we're all the same. But over here, I think this art of dying, like Bhakti Vinod Prabhuji explained last time, also translates into art of living. And if we live our life the way you just explained, I think the final exam, all of us will surely clear that. And that's also a little bit deep diving into today's chapter also, that we will discuss a little bit more, that how to conduct ourselves in that relationship so that we can get there. So thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. I know Bhakti Vinod Prabhuji is also here, and Prabhuji, you presented the last chapter. So any comments for the group?
No, it was wonderfully done. Thank you. It was very well prepared and very well presented. Thank you.
Okay. Let's do some Q&As. And just like last time, since Bhari Prabhuji is not here, but we have Bhakti Vinod Prabhu and myself and few other people who can contribute to the discussion. But if there are questions that we are not able to answer convincingly, we will take them up. We'll make note of them, and when Bhari Prabhuji is back, we will discuss those questions at that point in time. So I'll open the forum for any Q&A on chapter 8 or the previous chapters.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. This is Rasachita Devidasi. Can you hear me?
Yes, Mataji, we can hear you.
Yeah. So my question is, in chapter 8, verse number 15, translation, Krishna says, after attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion. So here, Krishna is mentioning bhakti yogis or ashtanga or other kind of hatha or yogis in devotion. That is what is confusing me. I never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries. That is in text 15. And in text 10, again, Krishna is saying, one who at the time of death fixes his life hair between the eyebrows and by the strength of yoga, with an undeviated mind engages in remembering the Supreme Lord, will certainly attain to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here Krishna is saying, I think it is clear that it is saying about the Ashtanga yogis who focus the mind on the two eyebrows, and still their destination is also Krishna saying, so in full devotion, engage himself remembering in full devotion. So I'm confused. Here it is saying focusing Ashtanga yogic process, remembering the Lord in full devotion will attain me. Again in 15, Krishna is saying yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world. So I'm confused the type of yogis that Krishna is mentioning in both verses.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji. So the verse you spoke, 10th verse, is a Yoga Mishra Bhakti. It's not pure devotional service, right? It's a Chakra Bhakti where the yogi is fixing the prana between the eyebrows, the Agya Chakra. And then you still need bhakti, right, to get to Krishna. So it's Yoga Mishra Bhakti, it's not pure bhakti, it's not pure devotional service. So they can still reach Krishna through that path. And the verse 15 is for pure devotees, Kevala Bhakti. That's pure devotional service. There's no mixture, right? So that is when he says Mahatmana, those are the pure devotees. They attain the highest goal of personal service to Krishna. Again,
Okay.
depending on whether you have a personal, like you understand that whether you have you're worshiping the personal form of the Lord, yes, then you will go to the spiritual planet, or if you have the impersonal idea of the Lord, then we go to the Brahmajyoti. Does that answer your question, Mataji?
Yeah, so for text 10, the Krishna is saying about the Yogamishra Bhaktas, right? So still in the last line, it is saying, remembering me. So even though they do the yogic process, like focusing eye within the eyebrows and all, still they remember the Lord, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
So
Even
I think,
Ashtanga Yoga, if you see, right, what is from after Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi up to the seven, they are still meditating on the form of the Lord. That is what is, even Ashtanga yogis, any kind of yoga, you will have to take the help of bhakti.
so
But
they believe in the form of the Lord, these kind of yogis, or they are they believe in the formless.
depending on the person, usually they are impersonalist,
Okay.
right? So, the Ashtanga, they might believe in the Paramatma form of the Lord, but not the. Some people just believe in the impersonal form of the Lord, and some people might, after coming in contact with the devotees, then they will follow. They will believe in the personal form of the Lord, but generally, they don't believe in the form of the Lord.
So here Krishna is saying, remember in the text 10, remembering the Supreme Lord means it could be the formless, impersonal form of the Lord, or it
Yeah.
could be very rarely, it could be the personal feature of the Lord. But what Bihari Prabhu's lecture, what I heard is these yogis go to Salokya.
Salokya.
Yeah.
So then they are.
So they may or may not get the direct association of the Lord. They may or may not.
Salokya is in the same planet.
Yeah, but still Prabhu was saying that they may or may not. It's not guaranteed that they will get the, like bhaktas. They always they go to the eternal Goloka and they get get to opportunity to associate in the pastimes of the Lord. But these yogis, even though they go to Salokya, they may not get the direct association of the Lord. They don't enter into the pastimes of the Lord.
Okay, that's a
Can I
detail.
add 2 cents, Prabhuji? Yeah.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, thank you very much. Mataji, the verse 8.8, you see, attaining the Krishna by remembering him. Okay, you have to see the before verses where it takes you. So 8.8 says, attaining Krishna by remembering him, where it says, he who practices to meditate with undeviated mind and consciousness upon me, the supreme transcendental person, attains me by such constant thinking of me. So this person, he's practicing yoga, but he's meditating on Krishna. You see, they can meditate on different things, but Krishna is talking about people. And also on the verse 9, remembering Krishna by Yoga Mishra Bhakti. This Yoga Mishra Bhakti, they used to remember Krishna only. So 9 says the ways of remembering Krishna, like nor of the past. It describes the quality of Krishna, where it says is Kavim, is Puranam, is Anushashritaram, Anu Anya Yasham, smaller than the smallest, the controller of everything, beginning or the oldest, omniscient, and then inconceivable, Rupam with a beautiful personal form, Aditya Varnam, luminous like the sun and self-revealing, Tamasa Parastas is transcendent to material nature, full of ignorance. So these are the ways that you can remember Krishna. So 9 says these are the ways you can remember Krishna. And then it comes 10th where it talks about Sat Chakra Yoga, where he puts his life hair in between the eyebrows and then he leaves his body, which means he's continuously thinking of Krishna and leaving his body.
Yeah, but the
Yeah, but does
destination.
it answer the destination? Well, the question is about the destination, whether you're doing impersonal or salokya.
This is not impersonal, Prabhu, because this is completely personal. They're remembering Krishna, the form, the multiple ways. This is not impersonal.
Yeah,
So
it
they go to.
doesn't seem like it's impersonal.
And that's because the following verses, and it continues with that's why I took the 8th and 9th and 10th. 10th comes with followed by 9th. So this is not impersonal. This is, they are meditating on Krishna only. And that's why Krishna says that clearly, that they will come to me because they do it with devotion.
Yeah, but what I understand from Bhayari Prabhu's lecture is that destination may not be Goloka. It could be Salokya.
Yeah, because they are not on the service mode. They will be with any of the other, like they can take the form of the Lord. They will be in the same loka of the Lord. But they are not, here they are not doing devotional service, but they are meditating on the Lord. So they can take the form of the Lord, any type of other muktis. But not a Sahujya mukti for sure.
Yeah, that is right, Kamala Kishori Mataji.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we'll go to the next question. And Mataji, if it's not clear, I would request you to put this question in the WhatsApp group also for Bhayari Prabhuji to answer, so that it's at least clear to all of us if there is any doubt left. But Kamala Kishori Mataji and Bhakti Vinod Prabhuji answered it perfectly. Nikita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, my question is in 8.24 and further, it talks about the auspicious and inauspicious time of death. And in the purport, it mentions that for pure devotees, this doesn't matter. What time he leaves the body, it doesn't matter for devotees. There is no fear of returning, and the devotees will go back to Krishna. So now I'm confused about Bhishma Dev. Bhishma Dev was one of the 12 Mahajans, one of the great devotees of the Lord. Then why did he wait for Uttarayan, the auspicious time to leave his body, whereas Krishna was right in front of him in the battlefield? So what was his purpose of waiting and bearing all the pain of arrows?
This question I've heard other devotees have also asked. One of the answers I've heard is Bhishma Dev did not want to leave anything to chance. He did not know out of humility that he's a pure devotee. Okay. So he didn't want to leave that to chance, saying, okay, I don't think so I'm a pure devotee, because pure devotees feel like that. So he said he knows the Shastras, so he waited till Uttarayan, and of course he's seeing the Lord's beautiful form in front of him. So he guarantees, he makes sure that he's going to go back to the spiritual world. Does that answer your question, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, it does. I was just confused that when he was shot with the arrows, Krishna was right in front of him, like he was right exactly before Arjuna. He was sitting as a Sarthi. So I don't know why he got that confusion, if he'll be going back or not, and he waited for that auspicious time. Didn't he have faith that Krishna is right in front of me, so I'll be going back to him, and he waited for the time?
So if you look at the other on the Kauravas side, they were also killed in front of Krishna. Did they go back to Krishna?
No, but they were not devotees, right? Whereas Bhishma Dev was such a devotee that Krishna himself broke his own promise, his own pratigya, and he lifted the wheel just to satisfy that Bhishma Dev's pratigya is not broken. So he knew he had that relationship, right? He must be having all that reciprocation also.
Yes, he has the reciprocation, but even the devotees who, not the devotees, but on the Kauravas side, who were dying, they had also attained liberation. They attained Sahujya Mukti. They attained Brahmajyoti. So he just wanted to make sure, also one of the other reasons, he just wanted to make sure that the Pandavas are going to win. And he wanted to see that Yudhishthira is going to be the crown of the king and it's in good shape. Then he wants to leave his body. It's just not that, okay, I want to go back. He has a promise that the kingdom has to be in good hands. So he wanted to see that. And then when he sees that, and he waits for the Uttarayan to happen and then goes back to the spiritual world. And he attains Vaikuntha, right? Because he sees in his opulence form, he attains Vaikuntha, not the Krishna Loka.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and Bhayari Prabhuji also answered this question, Mataji, in his lecture in the pre-recorded class. I'll tell you with exactly which section and which minute he talks about this, and you can listen to that also. I heard it yesterday.
Okay, Prabhu. So is it that for the Bhakti Shastri recordings?
Yes.
Maybe I missed. I haven't reached that then. Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. But I think the answer is pretty much on the lines what Bhakti Vinod Prabhu gave me. But you can also hear it from Bhari Prabhuji in his class. I'll point that to you.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Ashutosh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji's. Please pardon me for a stupid question, which is my logical mind is trying to ask. So the last verse of chapter 6, 6.47, where it says Yogi Nam Abhisarvesham Matkadanantarmatmana. And then the first verse of chapter 7, where Maya Saktmana Partha Yogam Yunjam Madashraya. So between these two, Krishna is giving an answer without Arjuna asking for it. In other chapters, what we see, Dhritarashtra starts and then Sanjaya and then Arjuna goes. Chapter 4, I know Krishna continues to speak. So while Krishna was speaking Bhagavad Gita, he did not have chapters in his mind, for sure. And then we created that classification. So why not 6.48? Because the same verse, 7.1, is related to the yoga. So why we classified that big pivot between the Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga while Krishna is continuing to speak for it. So just like the logic I wanted to understand. It's a stupid question, I know myself, because what I am questioning is the understanding of all the gurus and the acharyas, but just wanted to ask if it's relevant, otherwise we can skip.
I don't completely understand the question. So you're saying that sixth chapter, the last verse is Bhakti Yoga, right? That's the premise of the question. And then you say 7.1, it's not complete Bhakti. Is that what you're saying?
No, I mean, if I have to define the theme, I feel both of them are correlated. So 7.1 could have been easily 6.48, or 6.47 could have been 7.1 as well. So yeah, more or less the same thing, that the classification between karma versus the bhakti yoga, why, and Krishna is continuing. So how that logical classification happened? Or maybe I'm missing the whole difference between like bhakti and karma here, where both the points are correlated.
The first six chapters, if you see, the theme is Nishkam Karma Yoga. A little bit of Gyan Yoga is also there. Sankhya Yoga is there, which is in chapter number 2. And in chapter number 6, we're still calling it Karma Yoga because if you see, Ashtanga Yoga has 8 limbs.
Yeah.
Right? Yama, Niyama, and Till Pratyahara. That is still Karma Yoga. Yeah. Because you're doing something. Right? So that is why it's not. And this is a 45-minute conversation. Krishna didn't say first 6 chapters are Karma Yoga, the last 6 chapters are Jnana Yoga. He did not say anything. It's just a natural conversation. So when the acharyas classified based on these things, they are saying these are the 3 different sections. And Krishna didn't have say this is chapter number 6 or this is chapter number 1. It's a naturally flowing conversation. So if you see, chapter number 6 ends like giving that thing. Now we're going to start, because he's saying glorifying Bhakti Yoga, that the last words, especially of all the yogis, the one who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself and worships and renders service unto me, great faith, is most intimately united with me in yoga. So he's opening the door of Bhakti Yoga. And then in 7.1, he's saying, please hear the importance of hearing, Shruno, right? And practicing Bhakti Yoga with mind attached to me. So there's a natural progression you can see, but he doesn't get to complete like pure Bhakti. He gives glimpses in 7th and 8th, but the pure Bhakti completely rises in chapter number 9. Right. So he takes that Bhakti Yoga gradually in chapter 9, you will see that completely Kevala Bhakti. Does that answer your question?
That answers, Prabhuji. I think there was some related question that was asked before, that who classified these chapters in, the verses. Yeah. And like even the Sridhar Swami, I mean, that goes back to the 12th century. Even before that, maybe Adi Shankaracharya also had the same when he wrote commentaries. So how far it goes, like, in the history, that who for the very first time actually created, maybe Ved Vyas himself did that.
Yeah, that's what the answer was from by Hari Prabhu, that it was Srila Vyasadeva who created the chapters.
Right.
That is right.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yep. And also there is a little bit of a word interplay here, and Prabhuji clarified in his class. For example, even the current chapter, chapter 9, will talk about knowledge, Gyan. But this knowledge about realizing Krishna versus the Gyan in the Karam Yoga is, where he's talking about the soul, is different. So it's also the interplay of the words, that knowledge, Gyan in one place versus another place with a different context has a very different path. I'm sure same holds for yogic or the yoga ladder also. The way it was defined in chapter 6, because Krishna is taking Arjuna on a journey where his now faith and conviction is becoming more and more strong, and Krishna is going more and more deep. So he's delving into the same topic, but with a more realization, better realization, and a lot of knowledge, yoga in context of bhakti will reappear. So a lot of this is contextualized.
Right. And what we are talking about is Mishrit Bhakti in the start, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think the question helps. 1 and the question 3 are kind of related. I can see that.
Yeah, that helps. Like to where to get to the core depth of the Shuddha Bhakti.
Yep. Okay. I think we should delve into the next section just to keep it easy on us. Q&As without Bhari Prabhuji, I know is fun, I would say, to use the lighter word. So thank you for allowing me to present chapter 9 summary. While I'm sharing my screen, I'm also dealing with a little bit of a compounded problem on my end. My laptop crashed right at an hour before this class. My whole presentation went on a different laptop, and I switched to the new laptop. I'm working on through a computer on which I don't know how to operate much, but I'm going to try my best. So please bless me so that I am able to do this service despite the challenges. Is my screen visible, devotees? Okay. And how do I hide the panel? Okay.
We don't see the panel.
You don't see the panel? Okay. I'm just trying to find my mouse. Okay. I'll deal with this. And I also have the laptop without the internet. So I'll refer to that also for my proper presentation. Okay. I'll just start with the Guru Pranam mantra. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtha Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namne Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Dishitarini Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so I know all of you are going through module 1 test, and today is your another test of tolerating me and hearing from me. So I hope you will pass this test gracefully as well. And it is the blessing and the opportunity from Bhari Prabhuji. And it's for my own purification. And may Krishna help me in imparting this great knowledge, the most confidential knowledge to all of us. And we will churn the topic, and we will have interactions wherever we have open questions. We will note them down, but I hope it will be a little beneficial to all of us with my part that I have to play here. So the chapter is titled The Most Confidential Knowledge, also known as Param Guhya Gyan. Right in the middle of our Bhagavad Gita journey, chapter 9 of total 18 chapters. And we know, all of us know, we are in that Bhakti Yoga section, and even within the Bhakti Yoga, just like Bhakti Vinod Prabhuji was saying, this is the pinnacle. This is where Krishna is really revealing his mercy in form of this most confidential knowledge to us. So if I move forward, with the topic in the center, we will churn around this and try to see what this most confidential knowledge is. Let me see if I can get the panel out. Hold on. Is my screen still visible, devotees?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes.
Okay, now I can see my full screen also. Thank you. So with the topic in the center, we will churn it through some W family questions just to familiarize ourselves. And obviously this is a summary chapter, so I'm going to keep it at a summary level, high level. But there are 5 presentations from Prabhuji, verse by verse, going deep into it. It has a total of 34 verses. And the way Prabhuji presented it is very nice. So I highly recommend that you listen to those 5 classes. But this gives you some sort of a head start as to what to expect in those classes. And then you can take it forward from there. So as I was saying, from an agenda and structure perspective, what is this most confidential knowledge? Why is it called so? How to understand this in a deeper way? That's how Krishna explained it. So we will also look at it, especially after the previous chapter where Krishna said how to attain it. So we will see how now to act and how to understand that action to get closer to Krishna. And then Krishna talks about who among jivas gets it and who are the poor souls who are not able to get it. What is the ultimate result of this confidential knowledge? And this is a little bit of a glorification of bhakti, where Krishna gives us devotees and Arjuna a lot of assurances, which encourages us to take to the path of this devotion. And in the end, we will summarize the chapter. So this is going to be our structure, and I'm going to time box myself so that I don't go over time. But please feel free to remind me if I'm going overboard anywhere. So what is it? And one second. Yeah. So obviously, in the last chapter, Krishna talked about how to attain him. And like we were discussing during the Q&A section, there is a difficult way to attain Krishna, and then there is an easier way to attain Krishna. And towards the end of the chapter, Krishna did announce that pure devotional service is the most prescribed and the simple way to attain him. So that is the confidential knowledge that he revealed to us. And over here, he also explained how to get there in a simple way, how to keep it simple, how to act in that relationship so that we can practice devotional services. So in the previous chapter, he says, pure devotional service is the vehicle. In this chapter, he's telling us how to become a devotee. That is the essence. And it also tells us where will that land us, what is the end result of this. So he summarized this very nicely. Krishna summarized this very nicely in the last verse of the chapter, where he says, engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. So this is as simple as it can get. And I know it is easier said than done, but I personally wish that this class and this chapter and my particular learning of Krishna consciousness just ends with this verse. And if I'm able to practice this I feel I don't need to learn and do anything else, and Krishna will take care of me. And a lot of conviction after reading this chapter that if we are just able to do this practice, uh, Krishna assured that we will be taken care of. And not just in this chapter, in this verse, like we were discussing, Krishna has sprinkled this message many times throughout his conversation with Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. In 8.30 also, he talked about this. Earlier also, when he was talking about Nishkam Karma, he talked about devotion, and he explained that how he's going to take care of his devotees. Even in the future, especially in the concluding verse, Krishna does say in chapter 18, Mamekam Sharnam, that just surrender unto me. Don't worry about anything else. No need to fear, and I will take care of you. So that is the most confidential knowledge, the most simple knowledge that Krishna is trying to pass to us. So this is what is most confidential knowledge is. Okay. So how to become a devotee? He talks about how to engage our mind, how to become a devotee. Just pay obeisances to me and worship me, and stay completely absorbed in me. And the result is surely you will come to me. Krishna is promising. So that is the most confidential knowledge. Now let's look at the second aspect of it. That why is it called most confidential knowledge? And I think the emphasis is on most, because if there's something called most, then there has to be something like more or comparative, superlative, and positive, right? So that is the journey that Krishna has taken to us, and right now he's at the pinnacle of bhakti yoga, and he's giving us the most confidential services. So as you can see through this chart, in chapter 2, Krishna talked about knowledge of self, and he explained to us that we are not this body but the soul. So he gave us that knowledge, right? And he gave that as understanding. And he also told us that if we start operating at a soul level and not at the bodily level, it will liberate us, at least from the material tribulations and the material world. We will get liberated. So he did promise over there that kind of a thing. But this was more from our perspective, self perspective. Now, so definitely that knowledge was confidential. Otherwise, it will never get revealed to us that we are not this body, but we are a soul, right? Now, that's Atma Gyan. In chapter 7, Krishna gave the knowledge about himself. And he also talked about the kind of relationship that the self, Jiva, and the Krishna has. And then in the end, he also talked about it, how to get there, pure devotional service, right? So in chapter 7, Krishna talked about himself. He's revealing himself to us. He's very merciful. And to some, it may seem like flattery, but this is Krishna's mercy, that to his devotees, he is telling us about himself. And he is what he is. There is no other way to say. So he is the taste of water. He is the light of sun. And that is what he is the supreme personality of Godhead. So how else is he supposed to say it? And he's saying it directly to his devotee and his friend who is not envious of him. And that is why he's passing that knowledge through Arjuna to us also. So thanks to Krishna, he is allowing us to understand him little bit, how much ever we can understand. And then now that we know there is a self and then there is a Krishna, what is the knowledge? What is the knowledge of the relationship between the two? That is a very important aspect, right? So he is a supreme personality of Godhead, and he is the Paramatma, and he is the cause of all causes, and we are his creation, so to say. And we are also his part and parcel. And if we follow the instructions, if we follow the platform of love that he's trying to prescribe to us, he's giving a lot of assurances. He is saying that I will take care of you. My devotees will never perish. And that is why he's suggesting the process of pure devotional bhakti service to us. There is obviously a difficult way to get to it through Ashtanga yoga. And there also you can remember Krishna, you can meditate upon him. But that really is for the deliverance of the self. And Krishna really wants this exchange to be at the platform of love. And he's also in a way hankering for it. A relationship is bi-directional, right? It is not just for me to get liberated. It is also for Krishna. And we have to give this opportunity to Krishna. And Krishna is looking for that. So that is the kind of relationship that exists between the devotee and the Lord. And that is why it is called more confidential knowledge, because again, Krishna is revealing us, who am I? What is your relationship with me? And how can you get back to me? How was it before? You came down and you can get back to me. And there's an easy process for it. Just do the devotional services, pure devotional services. So that's what he exemplified in chapter 8. And he gave a very simple process of remembering him at the time of death. Again, easier said than done, but we just discussed the art of living and the art of dying. And if we perfect that, Krishna will definitely take care of us and we will be serving him for forever. That leads, so this is Sambandh Gyan. That leads us to the current chapter, chapter 9, which is called Param Guhyam, most confidential. And here Krishna is talking about Abhideya. So now I know myself, I know you, I know the kind of relationship that we have between us, but it is still theory. I think in the group presentation today, somebody was talking, it is still at a theoretical level. When the rubber meets the road, how am I supposed to conduct myself? How am I supposed to act? How do I understand you at a deeper level? I understand at a high level, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How do I not misinterpret it, right? And eventually, how do I become a devotee? And that's what Krishna is going to reveal to us in this chapter in a very simple way, right? That is how much he loves us. So Bahari Prabhuji in his lecture gave the example of a guest and the host. So the host is Krishna, and let's say I am the guest. And there is two ways that the host can treat me. So the host is a big guy, maybe a chief minister, and I'm just a normal citizen. If he wants to meet me, he can give me his address and I'll probably go to him. I'll be allowed to enter and maybe I'll get a place to sit, and I don't know what else to expect in that kind of a relationship. But think of the converse, wherein the chief of the chief is not only giving you his address, he's making the arrangements to come at the doorstep. When you arrive at the doorstep, he opens the door and he welcomes you in and he says, this house is yours. It doesn't have to be just sitting in the living room. You can be any room. The whole house is yours. By the way, it's not just the house. I myself is your servant and I'm ready to serve you whichever way you want to. That's how much Krishna is, treating us, providing this most confidential knowledge. He's expecting nothing from us and he's ready to give us everything. So that's the example that Prabhuji gave in his class. And another reason why this is called most confidential knowledge is because this is literally the keys of the kingdom. And this is a rare process that somebody get to that kind of a level. But once become the pure devotee, where actually Krishna is in our hands, we are able to control Krishna. And Prabhuji gives the example of Krishna's eternal associates like Radharani, Nanda Baba, Yashoda Mai, how they are playing with Krishna, how they are teasing Krishna, how they are running behind Krishna with a stick and Krishna is scared of them. So Krishna is Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality head over there also. But at the same time, because of the pure devotion, he has given himself into the hands of his devotees. And not just the devotees, he is also enjoying this. And that is what he's expecting from us. And he wants to keep it very, very simple. And that is a simplistic formula. He's going to give it to us. So that is how this is called Abhideya Gyan, most confidential knowledge. And we will see how Krishna wants us to act in this most confidential way. And the bottom more graph bar shows that we are on a journey of increasing our faith, like the 9 processes of bhakti. And definitely our nishtha, our faith, our trust in Krishna has to be on the incremental path, and Krishna will reveal, reciprocate. He will make ways to help us increase our faith also. All we have to do is take one step, and Krishna will take 10 steps towards us. So this is the Abhiday Gyan. This is the most confidential knowledge, and we will understand a little bit more about it in the subsequent sections. Okay, that leads us to how do we understand it, right? It's understandable that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and he is the cause of all causes, and that brings us to the topic of achintya bheda abheda tattva. Its simple English translation of it is inconceivable, simultaneous, oneness, and difference. So there is a sect of devotees who may believe in bheda, right? And there's a sect of devotees who are thinking that no, there is no difference between Krishna and me, right? So we know the different philosophies, especially the Mayavad philosophy, wherein either those devotees are bringing Krishna down to their level, or they are elevating themselves to Krishna's level, to the God's level, and they are saying there is no difference between us and Krishna, and we have to live this life reading Shastras, understanding what we need to understand, but at the end of it, we will become merged, and we will be one with Krishna. So that's one way of thinking, but Srila Prabhupada has always criticized this understanding. He called such personalities as mudas, the most foolish, with a very little knowledge or no knowledge of who Krishna is. At the same time, the Vaishnava philosophy is on the other extreme, where they really understand Krishna is who he is, and they have understanding of a knowledge of the relationship also, and they understand the jiva, and then we are the param bhaktas, and we have to serve the Lord to eternity, more of a dasya bhav. So they are able to really segregate Krishna and jiva. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he operated at a platform of love, further clarified this, and that's where he himself came down to establish this achintya bheda abheda tattva. So he said, he established that yes, Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and yeah, and he's providing us this most confidential knowledge. But the way to understand it also is there are two things. One is matter, and one is the spirit. That's what we see around us, right? Jad and the Ajad, right? The living entities. And Krishna is the creator, maintainer, and destroyer of the entire matter. No doubt about that. He is the cause of all causes. No doubt about that. But is Krishna doing it by himself? No. He has enabled other jivas, other personalities, his energies to do the tasks, and it is just by his will that things are happening. So yes, he is in us, and we are in him, but at the same time he is totally aloof, and it is by his will, by his desire, and by his potency that all this shrishti is working, right? So that is in context of matter, as to how Krishna is same as matter, but at the same time Krishna is not same as matter. He is beyond, he is transcended all these things. He is the creator of it. So it may seem that to some sects that Krishna and matter are same, and we will eventually merge into matter, but that's not how it is. Krishna is aloof from all of this. Thinking of the same thing from the jiva and the spirit perspective, yes, we as a soul are Sachidanandan, Satchit Anand, and so is Krishna. So again, we can get confused that me and Krishna are same. And yes, we have the same qualities, but at the same time, while Krishna is infinite, we are infinitesimally small. So qualitative, we are same, but quantitatively, we are very, very different. And that is why, again, the Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva, we are same, but we are not the same, right? And yeah, you cannot, a boat or a ship cannot float on a drop of water. So we have to understand our position. But at the same time, Krishna has been very merciful upon us to create us just like him with the same set of qualities, obviously in a minute quantity. And he has done that as a mercy so that we can take up the path of bhakti and we can go back to him, right? So as it says in the last concluding statement, the best way to understand Krishna is to understand that we cannot understand him. And if we can understand this fact, there's a hope for us. But if we believe we have conquered Krishna and we can be envious of him and we can question him, then that's the so to say, doomsday for us. And that's where, Krishna said to Arjuna, you have no envy of me, and hence I'm passing this knowledge to you. And hence, this is really the knowledge at a highest level, and pure devotees and aspiring devotees should really be looking up to it. So in conclusion of this section, I think it is very important for us to try to understand Krishna, right? Because those glimpses will help us with our faith, and with that faith, we can take up to the bhakti, and then Krishna will help us from there. Krishna wants us to keep it simple, but at the same time, we don't want to get caught up into this complexity of trying to completely logically convince ourselves of Krishna's position and then take on to bhakti. That would be a kind of a disaster. So that is why this Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva was established by Mahaprabhu, and he really wants us to understand the way Krishna is explaining us in chapter 7, in chapter 8, in chapter 9 also, and follow some simple processes to take the path of bhakti, right? So that was the third section. And if I'm able to move, okay. So who gets this concept and who is not able to get this concept, right? And Krishna talks about his two energies, Mahamaya, who is helping certain jivas as per their desire to stay away from Krishna, and the Yogamaya, again by the desire of the devotees of the Lord who wants to serve Krishna, and the Yogamaya is helping, Yogamaya potency is helping those devotees. So there is Mahamaya, Yogamaya, both are energies of Krishna, and Krishna has manifested these energies so that he can help all his creations, right? And he's treating everybody same, he's just reciprocating. So he talks a little bit about this in the chapter 7 also, that certain kind of personalities are not able to know Krishna and take this path of bhakti, but for certain other people like Mahatmas who are constantly chanting and constantly engaged, that's how the group presented their chapter summary today, they are able to understand Krishna, and they don't have to worry about anything, and Krishna promises a lot of results and the destination for those. So Krishna talks about specifically in chapter 7 the 4 kind of personalities that take to Krishna consciousness, and certain personalities who are not able to take to Krishna consciousness. And in that he talks in that context, and this is in a way continuation from chapter 7 into chapter 9, is talking about those impersonalists, materialists, speculators, atheists, and the demigod worshippers, who are men of either no intelligence or less intelligence, who are not able to understand Krishna and reach the ultimate goal, right? And he talks about the destination. Those who are not able to understand Krishna, obviously there's enough jails for them, like the hellish planets and other planets. And not everything is like bad, not everything is like hellish, but Prabhuji was mentioning that there is a suffering in each loka, whether it's Brahma loka or Swargloka or anything. So there could be punishments for you in the hellish planet if you're not able to understand Krishna. But let's say there's a yogi and there is a person who is doing a lot of austerities, etc., not the bhakti. There will be other planets for him. Maybe he will go to the Swargloka, enjoy there, but come back. But there will be problems. It will be temporary, and again you are enclosed in this cycle of birth and death. But at the same time, if you follow simple processes, Krishna consciousness principles, chanting, serving the devotees, and loving exchanges, then we will get to Krishna's abode. But at the same time, such devotees are not hankering for the destination. They are more happy in this journey, in this process, and obviously it will result into their return to Krishna Loka, but they are not hankering about it. So that's a very important message, that just focus on, don't worry about anything. Just focus on the process, enjoy the journey, and the destination will be equally joyful than same as journey. So the conclusion is Krishna is the proprietor. Krishna is controlling everything. It's all happening by Krishna's plan. Yog Maya, Mahamaya, both belong to him. But at the same time, it is us, Jiva, who has the opportunity. This confidential knowledge is available to everyone, but who takes to it, who doesn't take to it is in our hands. Who we associate with, what we practice, how we practice, with what attitude, with what mood. Mood is the most important, and we will see that little bit in the upcoming slide. Not how much you are able to do, but with what quality you are able to do. That is the most important part. So yes, we are responsible for it, and Krishna will make arrangements whichever way we desire. So he is that merciful upon us. So I think this kind of clarifies who gets this knowledge and who is not able to get this knowledge. Accordingly, they are deciding their own destination. Okay. So I think this is the last slide, and it talks about the glorification of the bhakti and lot of promises and assurances for Krishna, for his pure devotees. And Krishna, because he's at the pinnacle of his conversation with Arjuna, and he loves his devotees, so he's really going above and beyond, and very openly he's declaring certain things to Arjuna to totally convince him and bring him out of his grief, and motivating him to act in the right way. And the same applies to us also, that if we are in some kind of a trouble, let's take onto the feet of a devotee or a guru or Krishna, and Krishna is promising a lot of this, and we should be able to relate to each one of them. So Krishna is saying in 9.22 that I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. So Krishna is proactive and extra merciful. And here he talks about our spiritual account, that whatever little bhakti we have done, it is there. It is not going anywhere. It is preserved for us, and Krishna is ensuring that. And either we continue that journey, but let's say for whatever reason, this crooked mind or something else, we are not able to continue. Whenever we resume, it is still preserved for you, and he will ensure that we resume from there and we complete our journey. In terms of what he will, what we may lack, and he'll provide us. He will maintain us. If we surrender to Krishna, he will take care of us. Even from a material perspective, he will take care of us. He will sustain us. He will make us very, very successful so that we can do bhakti, if that's what we desire. And even in the bhakti, he will provide us what we lack through his devotees, through his agents like Srila Prabhupada, through the gurus who are the representation of Krishna. There are enough opportunities for us where Krishna is helping us if we lack something. But if by chance we do something good in the path of bhakti, he will preserve that for us. That's a huge, huge promise. It's very, very confidential, and he's promising that to us. The next one, the most famous, 9.26, talks about the potency of the process. At the same time, how this is so simple. So Krishna is saying, all you have to do is offer me a leaf or a flower or a fruit or some water. And note, he's talking about or. He doesn't want all of these things all together. Either one of them will also suffice as long as they're offered with some love and devotion. So if we are able to offer Krishna following this simple process, he's ready to take us. Obviously, we have to internalize this. If we are able to do more, we should do more. Krishna is omniscient, omnipotent. He can see everything. So when we are giving Krishna with one hand, he will see what I am hiding from my second hand. So we have to internalize this and see what we should offer, how much we should offer. But that's not paramount. What's most important is love and devotion. That is very important. And again, the crooked mind can say a lot of things, that if love and devotion are the only key ingredients, then I should be able to offer anything and everything. Why not offer meat to Krishna? And Prabhuji clarified that that's not correct. How can you offer something to a person with love and devotion if you're offering him something that he doesn't like, right? And Prabhuji gives an example of a husband and a wife. If the husband wants to gift wife something and he knows my wife does not like, say, red, right? Why will I give her something which is red in color? She's not going to like it. She's not going to, even though you say this is the best and I like you and this and that, but it's not reflecting in your action. So we have to know, and that's where the knowledge comes into play, right? We have to know what is acceptable to Krishna, what is our position, what is his position. Then there's a vehicle. And one of the examples that Krishna talks about is in the earlier verse, that he has given us the playing field, but he has also created a boundary for us, right? It's very important to stay within that boundary. Like the wind can flow anywhere, but it cannot cross sky. And sky is Krishna's creation. So just like the wind is created in the sky, that's where we are also bound. We are also tied to this tether, and we have a playing field. We cannot go beyond that playing field. But staying within our capacity, within our realm, if we offer something to him with love and devotion, he will definitely accept it. The next big thing that Krishna talks about is partial to devotees. Yes, Krishna said earlier that I am aloof. I am, I'm outside of this. I have transcended all the modes. I'm equal to everyone. But at the same time, he says, by exception, I am partially to my devotees. And I think the Bhagavatam Canto 6 really elaborates on this, because this is just touching the subject line, but that really clarifies what he means by that. How his mercy is flowing to his devotees as well as to his non-devotees. It's just that how you look to Krishna, Krishna will reciprocate the same way. And obviously, if you're offering him love and devotion, he will go out of bound to bring you back to his original abode and give you a service. But at the same time, if you want to fight Krishna, if you want to be envious of Krishna, he will reciprocate in that manner also. So in that sense, from a reciprocation perspective, he's equal to everyone. But yes, to his devotees, he has a lot of love and hankering for them himself. And Krishna is promising that if we commit the most sinful act, not just the sinful, but the most sinful act, but we are his devotees, he promises that he will not allow us to fall. He never, my devotees never perishes, is what he claims. And that is true too. And Krishna will put some tests in our life, but we have to have faith in Krishna. And the crooked mind can ask us to do something, and we may end up doing that also. But very important to get back to the path, and Krishna will definitely preserve and keep us going from there. So he will take care of all sinful act, and he clarified this in the chapter 2 also, when he was explaining Nishkam Karma too, that I take care of the sinful acts, not just for you, but for your previous and future generations. Just be my devotee. And Krishna is definitely purifying us, and he is ready to deliver us. So anyone and everyone who takes shelter of Krishna no bias, can attain perfection. All we need is faith. And despite the testing situations which are prevalent in today's time in everybody's life, we have to preserve our faith. We have to build temple. I know, despite all the challenges, the whole world is now full of temples. We have heard so many stories of, Juhu temple, a lot of temples that are getting built even today. I know last week in Florida, there's a new temple that got built in, and I'm sure there were challenges. But if we have faith in Krishna, we will see the results, and we will go back to the Godhead. So that is the outline of the chapter. I would end here, but I'll also stop sharing my screen so that I can see the devotees. And if there are any questions, we can discuss in next 5 minutes, or maybe 5 minutes. But definitely would open up more for next time when Bhari Prabhuji will be here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Akhila Mataji, Hari Bol. Mataji, I cannot hear you. I'm sorry. No.
Hear me now, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Prabhu, can you please explain what 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 is devotee never perish? Like, what is the meaning of perish?
Right, Mataji. And I think Prabhuji explained this in his class in the context of, what when Krishna promises, I provide them what we lack and he preserves what we have. I think in that context, he was explaining, even when we are living in this world, there'll be so many challenges, right? It can be in our material life as well as it can be in our spiritual life, right? And we can perish in both the ways, right? I may lose my job. I may lose my relative. It may become very difficult for me to sustain, right? For the food and the shelter. But at the same time, he was taking example of his pure devotees, like the sannyasis and Guru Maharajs, who never care for their next meal, right? But at the same time, Krishna makes sure that they are treated like a VIP. That's the whole sannyas ashram meaning, right? That don't worry, completely surrender, and I will make sure that you will not perish. So materially also, he will help us. But let's say we are trying to practice bhakti and we are facing some challenges. And I have experienced this personally myself, that whenever I'm going through some struggle, and let's say I'm sitting in a Guru Maharaj class and I don't even probably have the audacity to ask a question, the question gets answered automatically, right? And or some devotee will come and walk up to you, and he will say something that you really wanted to hear. So that is how Krishna is promising that both materially and spiritually, I will take care of you. I will never let you fall down.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Chan pranams.
Can I say comment on this, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Mataji, please.
So what I have remember from the devotee never perish can also be understood as the devotee's Krishna consciousness will be protected. The bhakti of the devotee will be protected. That in that way also, in that context also, it can be understood that my devotee never perish. The bhakti will be protected. Whatever the situation, the struggles, challenges, materially go through, even spiritually, but that Krishna makes sure that that devotee's devotion will be protected.
You're absolutely right, Mataji. Krishna will take care of our bhakti also, and everything else which may lead to our fall down or perish. So yes, you're right.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Ananta Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. I just wanted to share my appreciation for your class today. I think the Achintya Veda, Veda Tattva is always a very complex topic, most complex because we can't understand, but I think you handled the subject very well. I especially appreciate how you started from way up top, did a background review of how the progression is, and then came into landing on the 9th chapter. There was one thing more I wanted to say, I forget. But yeah, you said it was going to be a test for all of us. I did not feel that it was a test. I really enjoyed hearing the way you have assimilated and you're appreciating the 9th chapter. So thank you very much for sharing.
Oh, I thank you so much, Prabhu, for your encouragement and kind words. I appreciate you, and we are all in the same boat. I was very anxious. My laptop broke down. I'm not even recording this on YouTube today because I don't have the setup. So last minute, my wife helped me transport the slides and create the slides from me, from taking the pictures and how not. So I'm very appreciative of the devotees for their kind words, kind nature. It kind of resonates with the chapter also, that Krishna will never allow his devotees to perish. So you all are here to help me out. Okay, we are right at the time. Unless there is a last comment or a question, we can probably end the class here, if that's okay. Akila Mataji, please go ahead. Last question.
Can I? It's not a question, more of a reflection. When you were mentioning, when you were telling, Krishna is infinite and we are, and my mouth was like finite, and then you so beautifully said infinitesimally small, and then I'm like, that just hit me. So it's not that we are finite; we are infinitesimally small.
Yes.
So that makes a huge difference so I just wanted to share it. It just hit me. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
No, I think knowledge of self, knowledge of Krishna, and then in relation, understanding this definitely truly makes us more humble in a real sense. So yeah, I think that's what Srila Prabhupada also practiced and taught us, that how to stay grounded and how not let the pride come to our head. And he has done that so many times to his devotees. Like one time the devotee came and met him, and he did not say much, but the way he said it, I'm from New York. And that statement had a lot in it. And Prabhupada caught onto it. And then Prabhupada really, responded to him, which New York you're talking about? That planet, that ocean, that country, that state. And in that city, New York City, are you talking about that city? And the devotee understood that what Srila Prabhupada is trying to say. So we are definitely infinitesimally small, Mataji, in a real sense. We just have to understand it.
Can I just understand that in the say I am not finite, I am infinitesimally small? Is that to understand I'm a part and parcel of Krishna? And if I'm not finite, because if it's required, he will empower me for whatever that is. Can I, like, I'm trying to understand the definition of infinitesimally small. And the difference between finite and infinitesimally small. Can you throw light on that so that I understand, like I'm clear with that concept, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji. This is Prabhupada and Guru Bhari Prabhuji explained with an example of a drop of ocean and the ocean. So drop of water and ocean. So chemically, both are same. Same chemicals are there in the drop, and the same composition is there in the ocean's water. But the two are not same, right? And then he gave an example of how can a shark live in a drop of water, right? And maybe he was talking about us as sharks, not the nice beings, but we need that ocean, right? So that is the comparison, Mataji, that qualitatively we are same to Krishna, but quantitatively we are nothing. And I think in Bhagavatam, where we talk about the sarga and visarga and the creation, it is explained, I think the conversation of Vidura with Maitreya Muni, that the size of the planet, it is like some part of a line of a hair, that much is the planet. So Now you can imagine our position, like how big we are or how small we are. So definitely we have a shape, we have some size, but if it is infinitesimally small, and that is our position in front of Krishna's creation and Krishna also.
Sorry, Prabhu. Maybe I can take it offline also. I'm just trying to understand also in how should I understand the difference between finite and infinite? It's really small. Like I understood the part of the quality, like I'm, small. So I understood I understood the difference between Krishna and me. I'm trying to understand the difference between finite and infinitesimally small. How and I don't want to speculate that, so that is why I was trying to ask one section of it to say I'm not finite law, I'm not fixed in anything, but I can, like, is Krishna, he can use me in any form if wanted. So I'm not like a fixed, like I'm not having like fixed properties. Like I don't know how to word it. I'm trying to understand clearly so that I am not speculating or understanding. My understanding doesn't go wrong. How should I understand the
I
difference
think
between finite and infinitely
if I
small?
just add some context to this, that might help a little bit. So this is how sometimes we misinterpret, right? And Prabhuji explained this in his class, that Krishna also has a human-like form, right? And we are also human. And sometimes it's explained in, I think, verse 9.11, that fools deride me because they think Krishna is same as my relatives and all the people that I see around. And that's where we feel, we are the same. And that is why, to clarify that point, that we are not the same, this kind of a comparative study and comparison is drawn, that, hey, we may look same because qualitatively we are part and parcel of him, but at the same time we are uncomparable to him, both in terms of the qualities, because he has all the qualities, nobody has all the 64 qualities, as we know, right? And we have some of them, and even some of them are in a very, very small, minute quantity, and we that might also be covered with lot of avidya and trutis in our life, so they're not even manifested, whereas Krishna is truly manifested, and we see his energies, how he's operating the world. So that is my understanding, Mataji, of how small I am in relation to Krishna and his energies. So that's my understanding. But yeah, happy for other devotees to chime in if they have any comment, or we can ask Bhari Prabhuji also in the next class for further clarification.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. We just want to add on that. What I
Please.
understood is the Satchidanand, where the soul is all eternal, full of knowledge and full of ananda. That is my understanding, where we are infinitesimally part of Krishna. The other things, as you mentioned, 64 energy, 64 skills and energies,
Qualities.
and qualities, and Shad Ananta Murti, that's what we say, full of six opulences, vibhutis and everything, is only Krishna can do. We cannot take those Leela avatars and everything that is associated with the metaphysical aspect and beyond even imagination, beyond even understanding. So that may define like how small, how tiny we are in comparison to the Supreme Lord. That's my understanding. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Let's also hear from Ananta Prabhu.
I know we are going over time. I hope I just wanted to share my understanding. So infinite and finite can be thought of in terms of size. The way I see it is significance. The spirit soul is insignificant by itself. Can't do anything without Krishna. Krishna is significant, and I am completely insignificant. I gain significance when I'm connected to Krishna through proper channels. So that is one way of appreciating infinitesimally small. And the the third verse of Sikshashtakam also, we hear how it is translated, Trinadapi Sunichena. It is like our Acharya say, even you can translate Trinadapi as grass or as straw. A grass, when you step on it, can come back up, but a straw will never come back. You stand up back up. So there's that insignificant.
Very true. Thank you so much, Prabhu. I know we're a little bit over time, so we will end over here. I have recorded the session locally on my computer. I'll try to make it available on YouTube, but it may take some time until I get my laptop with all the connections back. But thank you one more time. We'll end with the prayers. Vanchakalpatarupaya kripa sindhu bhavevacha patitanam pavnebhyo Vaishnavrinda namo namah. Anant Koti Vaishnavrinda ki
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Jai Gaur Brahmanande.
Hari
Hare
Bol.
Bol. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Thank you,
Thank
Prabhuji.
you.
Thank you,
Prabhuji. Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Yes.
Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.